Hi, my name is Mike and welcome to my vlog about football in general and Burnley FC in particular, a vlog that this week has successfully fulfilled its New Year's resolution to break all its New Year's resolutions. Clarets draw 2-2 at home to Tottenham, pretty much the definition of two bald men fighting over a comb. Although, two bald men fighting over a comb in this instance produce a pretty entertaining second half. Two flawed teams, two managers going through bad patches, but those flawed teams managed to create an entertaining game, which, you know, a more entertaining game than we've perhaps seen at the Turf for a while, especially in that second half. The Clarets not being able to hold on for the full 90, conceding just as we went into injury time to, I'm not so sure, drop 2 points there, but I'll kind of get onto that. In terms of the game itself, as I say, entertaining stuff. Spurs were the better side. Well, we almost conceded in the first, 6 seconds, thanks to a defensive mix-up. Spurs probably the better side for the opening half hour, and only a superb double save from Dubravka kind of kept the scoreline goalless until about 30 odd minutes in, when a corner comes in and Spurs take the lead, and there's a lot to unpack with that corner. First off, Kyle Walker, what the hell were you doing? You know, in rugby, when they do a line out, I'm no expert in rugby, but you know when they do a line out and there is some bloke at the front who always jumps about 3 seconds too early, presumably as some kind of decoy. Walker does that. He's actually back on the ground by the time the ball comes back in. Clarets failed to clear, probably because out of surprise, going, what the bloody hell are you doing? The ball goes to Van de Ven, who shows his own strikers how to do it by putting the ball easily into the bottom corner. And that kind of felt at the time a little bit like, not sure how we're going to get out of this, where we're going to create anything. Spurs didn't look all that much up, at the back. They looked, both sides looked decent going forward. They just looked really, really wobbly at the back. And then, just as I was yet again bemoaning the fact that we do not get the ball into wide positions to cross, see vlogs passing. See how many times I turn around and say we do not cross the ball from wide areas. Lo and behold, Kyle Walker crosses the ball from a wide area. First time anyone's done it since, I don't know, Leeds at home. Same result. This time Tuanzebe, he's on his own, really nicely controlled volley into the bottom corner. There you go, there's the tactics. Yeah, a surprise cross that is nowhere near any of the forwards, any of the midfield, is actually there for a centre-back who's never scored a league goal in his career. Okay, if you've got the element of shock in the tactics, well, yeah, that was a shock. So 1-1 at half-time. Both managers clearly sort of turning around saying there's points here if we keep going. Clarets, I think it was an even second half up until the last few minutes. I'll get onto that in a minute. Even second half. Clarets had chances, bro. You had chances. Are they chances? Are they half chances? 3/4 chances, I think. Perhaps a striker who has more match time and also more chances throughout the season under his belt might have put one of them away. There was a good save and follow-up. It was from Vicario and Van de Ven. Van de Ven, for me, lived up to the hype. Vicario really, really didn't. I'm not sure I've seen a dodgier keeper for pretty much any club in the last couple of years, last 2 or 3 years, than Vicario. Speaking of Spurs players, Jed Spence really, really liked him, but I thought he was the victim of the Thomas Frank muddle that is Spurs at the moment, because if I remember rightly, he was sort of played the first half as a kind of left wing back, and then comes out for the second half as a right back. To be fair, he was good in both roles, combining well with Audebert on the right hand side. Audebert threatening so many times to be the guy who scores on his return to a former club, but didn't. But anyway, Spence looked really, really decent. Clarets looked decent. Broy looked decent. And then we go ahead. Jadon Anthony, who I'd spent most of the game shouting out for backing out of not only 50-50 challenges but 60-40s, gets the ball after Romero, I think, is dispossessed, gets the ball, a lot of people screaming and shoot, the ball was bobbling, he was trying to control it, and he plays a pass barely to Foster, who at the second chance puts it in the back of the net. 2-1. Thought we might go into a defensive shell, but we didn't. We seemed to be trying to score more, but Spurs kind of like a bit out of desperation started throwing the kitchen sink at us. Amazing save from a Tell header by Dubravka. Amazing, clawing that away. Some people said, from a distance where I was, they can't blame them. They thought it had actually hit the post, but it was no cracking save. Then I think Simons hits the crossbar. And then finally, we do concede. Audebert beats Pires, finds space, crosses, good header. Dubravka can't do anything about it. 2-2. Hopefully, Romero giving it the big I am tough guy away at Burnley, celebrating a last-minute equaliser away at Burnley celebration. Has to pay for the LED board he broke. Really, why? Why do you do that? It's a fake celebration anyway. And, you're just destroying something for the sake of it. Anyway, 2-2, probably a deserved result. Probably the correct result. I mean, after all, and regular watchers of the vlog will know, I try not to take a single game in isolation. If you think we were unlucky to not hold out for that one, then you have to say we were lucky to get away with Man United and Liverpool. These things allegedly kind of even themselves out. You can't turn around and go, well, we deserved it against, deserved the point against Man United, but we didn't, we deserved all 3 against Leeds. No, you can't. I'm afflicted with that thing that you're not supposed to have in football, which is consistency. I think 2-2 was a fair result in a hugely entertaining game between two struggling sides, to put it mildly. Credit to the Spurs fans, actually, for being one of those things, talking of rare things in football, a big club with a sense of humour. When they went 1-0 up and started singing "We Are Staying Up," I was like, oh, well played. Very good. I know, and they're having chants against the manager and stuff like that, but that I was just like, yeah, I thought it was quite funny, actually, and fair play to them. In October 2024, I did a vlog. This was before I even did the ranty one. I did a vlog about being conflicted by this manager and the tactics. And this is a perfect example of it. You can come away going, that's 3 points out of matches against Man United, Liverpool and Spurs. And loads of people are kind of like, see, Parker's getting it right, defending Parker and all this kind of stuff. 3 points against Man United, Liverpool and Spurs. Yeah, but have you seen how we did it? Let's look at the stats. I don't go too much into stats and data analysis. What I do believe in is statistics, is things that have happened. I don't believe in things like XG. I don't believe in predictive stats because, well, there's a longer vlog I've always been meaning to do about this. But ultimately, if you make a prediction in a statistical prediction, no one can ever pull you up for it being wrong. It's the easiest thing to do. Oh, you got a 62% chance of winning the next football match. Well, if you're wrong, well, now we've got a 56%. We'll update our model. Anyway, I do actually believe in statistics that are things of the past, things that happened in the game. I mean, the most vital statistic of all, the scoreline. Here's some statistics for you. 3 games, 4 goals, 6 shots. And 4 of those shots were in the Spurs match. So that's 2 goals from 2 shots. And you go, well, Mike, we actually scored 5 over the last 3 games. Yeah, one of them's an own goal. There wasn't a shot on goal, so it don't count. So, 4 goals, 3 games, 6 shots. Conceded 5 goals in those 3 games. 28 shots. So that 28 shots are shots on target, by the way. So, shots where Dubravka has had to make a save. Shots where players have cleared it off the line. Doesn't include shots off target, which means doesn't include Simons hitting the bar, doesn't include Shea Lacey, which is a great name for an NXT wrestler, hitting the bar, doesn't include Szoboszlai missing a penalty, doesn't include the shots that went slightly wide or over. 28 shots on target. We've had 6 in the same time span. That's not sustainable. We have rode our luck for 3 matches. Is that the plan? Well, it is the Parker plan. To basically hang on and have a piece of luck. And that luck is hitting the crossbar or missing penalties. That's not a sustainable plan. That's not anything that's going to win football matches. You can't do that. Another thing you can't do to win football matches, turn up with 5 at the back at home. Honestly, 5 at the back and 2 in midfield. In the Premier League, we're putting 2 players in the midfield and having 5 in a defensive shape. And it doesn't look a particularly good defensive shape either. Whatever happened to Kyle Walker, I did a 180 on Kyle Walker. I wasn't sure when we signed him. And then the first few games, I was completely wrong. He's brilliant. He's taking on his man. He's beating his man. He's defending well. He's keeping his attacker quiet. And he's bombing down the pitch. And then he pings over pinpoint crosses. Well, didn't take long for Parker to coach that out of him, did it? And like I say, we scored on Saturday, the opener, using a tactic that is pretty much banned under the Parker system. When was the last time we slung in a cross like that? From that area. And that's one of Walker's main weapons, is his pace and his ability to do that. We only did it the once and we scored. Last time we did it from memory, we scored against Leeds. Jadon Anthony to Lyle Foster at home to them down road last year. I thought that was going to be a start of a beautiful friendship. Didn't do it again for the rest of the season, did we? But we scored 2 goals from it. But the weird thing is, the guy who scored it is a centre-back. What's he doing there? Why isn't our forwards or our midfielder, both of them, on the end of that? But that's the tactics. 5 at the back at home, 2 in midfield. It's just... Like I say, people go, oh, you just want Parker out. No, I just can't wait for him to leave. Simple as that, We're not going to stay up. We're not going to stay up with that. 3 points in the last 3 games. We're not going to stay up relying on the opposition hitting the bar. That's the frustrating thing. We got West Ham at home in 2 weeks' time. How are we going to settle for that one? We need to win it. But is he going to come out with 5 at the back again? And I've said before, I don't like comparing managers to managers. They bring different styles, different ways, different things to the table. A Dyche team would have had that Spurs for breakfast. They'd have looked at that and just gone, brilliant. Absolutely tore them apart. Now, I don't particularly like cliches in football. They're everywhere. They're unthinking. People just say things just unthinkingly and, they don't mean it anyway. But, there's cliches about clubs and there's cliches about teams. And the one cliche, stereotype about Burnley is we've always punched above our weight. That's what we do. That's our identity as a club. Identity is not even a word I particularly like, but it is our kind of identity as a club. And we've done that for all of our existence. We did it under company. We punched above our weight. We played football that was better than Barcelona. Little old Burnley played football that was better than Barcelona. If that's not punching above its weight, I don't know what is. We had Dyche, Owen Coyle. Can't believe I've even said his name. First time I said his name on this vlog. Stan Turner. We're scrappy. We're underdogs. We punch above our weight. And Parker Ball is the one thing I never want Burnley Football Club to be, which is timid. We play afraid. We play scared. Even in the Championship, we play within ourselves at the best of times. We never go for it. We're afraid. And that's not Burnley. It took me a while to figure out why I don't like this manager's tactics so much. It's because we're timid. It's because we just retreat. And that's not what Burnley do. I always say, just go down swinging. You might go down, but go down swinging. That's what Burnley do. We don't meekly accept our fate. So we do under this manager. 5 at the back against a team that the manager is pretty much out the door. But then there's another stat. How long's our non-winning run now? 15, is it? How many managers survive that? I mean, ALK are not the firing type. Fair play. That's their philosophy. Okay, that's their philosophy. But 15 without a win. Oh, Parker's got to stay. He's got 3 points in the last 3 games against Man United, Liverpool and Spurs. Yeah. What's he done in the others? I mean, 15 games since we last won. How many? Well, we got, I don't know, 5 draws? I mean, I'm still doing these vlogs just because that's the deal. I'm kind of doing them every week. But it's it's hard to find new subjects. It's hard to come at it with an original viewpoint, an interesting viewpoint. You guys who watch regularly know how I feel about the football we're watching. And yeah, Saturday was an entertaining game. I've been crying out for an entertaining game. That was an entertaining game, but it wasn't an entertaining game because we made it entertaining or we went for it or anything like that. It was an entertaining game because it was 2 deeply flawed teams playing a deeply flawed game of football. It was kind of like desperation stuff, and there's entertainment in desperation stuff. It's not a plan. It's not a plan for the future. Like I say, in 2 weeks' time, we've got West Ham coming. Their manager's ultra-defensive. Our manager's ultra-defensive. A draw, 0-0, suits them perfectly well. What are we going to do? 5 at the back, 2 in the middle? Perfect. West Ham are going to love that. That's where I am. That's where I am with this team. That's where I am with this manager. I still slightly believe we have a chance if we change our approach. We're not going to change it under this manager. We're not going to change the manager, so what's the point? But it's another Premier League season wasted. And this was a good one. This was a good opportunity as well. You've seen the rest of the Premier League. And this was an opportunity to, we're not going to come along every time. Didn't come along last time we were up. This was an opportunity to not consolidate, but get that second Premier League season in, which would have made a huge difference on and off the pitch. And we're just meekly accepting our fate. We're just meekly going, oh well, it's always an excuse. It's not his team. We haven't been able to buy the quality. We've had a few injuries. It's always an excuse, isn't it? It's always an excuse to get away from its dull, unambitious, timid rubbish. That's the one thing, as I say. It's not what we are. It's not what Burnley is. We might not be good. We might not be pretty to watch. But teams would come to the turf and they knew that they were in a battle, whether it's against the crowd, whether it's against the elements, or the 11 players in claret and blue. We're just timid. Timid and afraid. And that's unforgivable, really. Up the Clarets.